Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling one of the biggest challenges for tiny house owners: finding land for your tiny home. Whether you're living full-time in your tiny home or just using it for getaways, securing the perfect spot can be tricky. But don't worry, there are tons of creative and practical ways to find a place to park. And it all starts with being flexible and resourceful. Let's make it happen. The importance of location. Let's start with location. When it comes to parking a tiny house, location really matters. If you're aiming to park your tiny home in a bustling city center, it might be challenging. For example, trying to park a tiny house in downtown New York City could feel impossible due to strict zoning and limited space. But if you expand your options to rural areas, or even the outskirts of a city, you'll likely have more success. For example, in rural Australia, it's common to find stretches of land where tiny house owners can set up without a lot of restrictions. Broadening your search area, like looking 20 to 30 minutes outside of a major city, can yield more options with fewer zoning restrictions. Using online platforms to find parking. Let's talk about how to actually find a parking spot. One of the easiest ways is by using online platforms like Facebook groups and Craigslist. These platforms allow you to connect with people who might have parking spaces available or know of a good spot for your tiny house. I've come across people who successfully found parking just by posting in local Facebook groups. One couple, for instance, managed to secure a great spot after posting in multiple community groups where they got several offers and eventually found the perfect match. And if social media isn't your thing, there's another strategy that can be just as effective. Mailbox drops. This technique involves distributing flyers in neighborhoods where you'd like to park. For example, I read about a couple who sent out 200 flyers to local landowners, asking if anyone would be open to renting a parking spot. After a few weeks, they connected with a landowner who offered them a spot that was ideal for their needs. Top websites for finding land for tiny homes. If you're looking for a more structured way to find land specifically for tiny homes, certain websites make the process easier. These platforms allow you to filter by location, zoning restrictions, and more, giving you a better chance of finding land that meets your needs. 1. LandWatch. This website offers a vast selection of land across the US, complete with filters for zoning, price, and acreage. It's particularly useful if you're looking for rural or undeveloped land with flexible zoning, which can be more accommodating for tiny houses. With LandWatch, you can filter for properties where tiny homes are more likely to be welcome, or even locate land with minimal restrictions that allow for off-grid living. 2. Land and Farm. Another fantastic resource, Land and Farm, specializes in rural properties and undeveloped land. It's ideal for finding land that might have fewer zoning restrictions, especially if you're hoping to purchase a larger lot. The site is well suited for people looking to park in more spacious areas where tiny homes are often more acceptable. These websites are great tools if you're ready to make a long-term commitment to one spot or plan to buy your own piece of land. By filtering for properties with the right zoning and access, you can significantly narrow down your search for tiny home-friendly spots across the country. Exploring RV parks as a parking option. Another option to consider is RV parks. While some might think of RV parks as a last resort, they can be an excellent choice for tiny house parking. Not only do RV parks offer convenient amenities like water and power, but they can also offer a built-in sense of community. Take Austin, Texas, for example, where there's a tiny house community within an RV park. Residents there benefit from shared amenities and a strong neighborhood feel, making it a good option if you're looking for community vibes and convenience in one. Networking through personal connections. Sometimes the best solution comes from simply asking around. Word of mouth can work wonders when looking for a parking spot. I know of one tiny house owner who found a great spot just by asking friends and family if they knew of any landowners interested in renting out space. A friend happened to have a plot of land that was just perfect, and all it took was reaching out and asking. Networking is powerful. Whether through family, friends, or even casual acquaintances, a simple conversation could lead you to an ideal location. Work exchange programs for parking and employment. Another unique option is work exchange programs. Some tiny house owners find parking spots on farms or lifestyle properties where they can park in exchange for work. I heard about one person who found a great spot on a farm where they parked their tiny house and worked part-time in return. Not only did they get a place to park, but they also found part-time employment. It's a creative way to keep costs down while securing a stable parking spot. Off-the-grid living. Greater flexibility in parking. For those who live off-grid, finding a parking spot can be even easier since they're less dependent on utilities. Off-grid tiny homes don't need to be connected to traditional power or water sources, which means they can be parked in more remote, secluded areas. This opens up options like forested areas or private farmlands where connecting to utilities might otherwise be a challenge. If you're equipped for off-grid living, you'll likely find more available spots, as your tiny house won't need access to public utilities. Aesthetics matter. Attractive tiny homes are more welcome. Another point worth mentioning: appearance matters. If your tiny house is attractive and well-maintained, you're more likely to find landowners willing to host it. An appealing design makes a good impression and can even make it easier to negotiate terms with potential landlords. Keeping your tiny house in good shape can go a long way in securing that perfect parking spot. Family land. Multi-generational living. Sometimes, the best place to park your tiny house is on family land. Parking on family land is an option many tiny house owners choose, especially in rural areas. It offers practical benefits and a sense of family support. For example, one tiny house owner parked on family land to help care for a terminally ill loved one. This setup gave them the chance to stay close to family while still enjoying the independence of tiny house living. Thinking outside the box with commercial land and unconventional spots. Finally, thinking outside the box can lead to some unique parking solutions. Some tiny house owners are starting to look at commercial land as a potential option. For example, one individual found a secluded nook on commercial land, which gave them a private space in an industrial area. Key takeaways. So, what's the best strategy for finding a parking spot for your tiny house? First and foremost, stay flexible and creative. Use platforms like Facebook, Craigslist, and specialized websites like LandWatch and Land & Farm to help find options that fit your needs. Off-grid setups offer even more flexibility, and family land or intentional communities can provide both stability and social support. If managing both finding land and building your tiny home feels overwhelming, consider Prefab homes, especially from Amazon. Amazon offers tiny homes for every lifestyle and budget, including smart capsules, trailers, homes with garages, and even double-story and triple-story options. The best part? They're returnable, just like all Amazon products. Don't like it? Send it back. Plus, with Amazon Visa, you might even purchase in installments, making home ownership more accessible. In today's economy, Amazon Tiny Homes simplify the journey for aspiring tiny house owners. Affordable, flexible, and convenient. They're just what you need to turn tiny living into reality. If you want to explore the best Amazon Tiny Homes, I'll leave the links in the description. Thanks for watching. Share your parking or tiny home tips in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.